Hello everyone. Here's a short video I put together of my home-built dump trailer I made. I built the whole thing from scratch, including the hoist, which you see here. Got a couple hydraulic cylinders from Princess Auto and fabricated this up. Our local steel supplier heavy equipment repair cut me out the pieces that I needed to my specifications, and I put everything together. Here in this next slide you will see the hinge mounts that I made that attach to the frame of the trailer. They're just some heavy walled thick tubing and flat stuff that I drilled and then welded together and then stuck them in my lathe and flattened them off. And then this is the hoist, the finished product. It's all painted here. Company in town, Pro Blast. Good bunch of guys painted them for me. And then we move on to the trailer itself. Here's the drawbar that I put together. It's made of 3/8 steel, and it's 3 inches by 6 inches, I believe, or might be 4 by 6. And this is where it attaches to the main frame of the trailer. The main frame of the trailer is 2 by 6 rectangular steel, and it is 5/16 thick. Might be a little bit overkill, but I didn't want this thing to fall apart. I reinforced it with bracing wherever I could. Here you'll see the trailer frame coming together. It's upside down at this point because I'm just welding everything to the bottom of it. Yeah, it was a little bit cold out when I built this thing, and there was a fair bit of snow. Here it is with the axles kind of roughly in place. We're just checking to make sure everything lines up nice and good before finish welding everything underneath, which I did in this picture here. You can see already it's later in the season. Then I flipped it up on its side like so, just to get a good weld on everything. Flipped it back upside down to make the tool tray and the mount for the engine, and then flipped it over the other way so I could do a nice weld on the other side. So I'm not a very good welder, so I just wanted to make sure everything was as good as possible, and I positioned it in a way that I could get mostly flat welds. And here you can sort of see, well, here it's right side up now, and you can see I've made some storage areas under the deck that tilts. Here's another view of the back of it. I made it so that I can pull on it in the back, which is what that yellow little hook is for. Here I'm starting to build the actual tilting part of the deck and putting the hinges on. And here I'm installing the hoist into it for the first time, just to make sure it all fits together. And then I picked it up with the picker. And then here I'm trying it out with my bobcat.
Okay, here goes nothing. First time this thing's gonna go up on its own if it works. Well, it's working. Hope my bobcat doesn't run out of hydraulic fluid.
So the hoist did actually work quite nicely the first go around. It did suck all the hydraulic fluid out of my bobcat, but that's to be expected with those two big cylinders. Here I am putting the rub rails on and putting the rest of it all together, the deck and whatnot, getting it ready for paint. And then I drug the trailer behind my truck down to the same guys who sandblasted and painted the hoist for me. They called me up a couple days later that it was done, and we reassembled it in their shop. It looks really nice. You can see the D-ring in the back that I put there so I could pull on it and not have the trailer come apart in case I get stuck or something. Here it is all put back together, ready to drag home. Then I installed a hydraulic pump, and it's an engine-driven hydraulic pump. I'm not a big fan of the electric ones, but it does have its pluses and minuses, but for me, I wanted something where I can dump without having to charge a battery and clean it, instead of just dump trailers. And it's just a pain in the butt if you have to stop and charge a battery for a couple hours. Of course, engines can be finicky, run out of gas sections and whatnot, but the other reason I put this engine on there is so I can run my wood splitter off of it for other auxiliary hydraulic needs. My son's just testing the deck here, make sure it goes up and down. This is the first time the engine itself is making the deck go up and down. It's an engine I repurposed out of a paint spraying machine that we don't need. And I put a log splitter pump on it, 2-section pump. It does quite well lifting pretty heavy loads. The heaviest load I had on it was just over 5 tons or 11,000 pounds, and it lifted it no problem once it was shifted a little further back. The loader guy loaded it too far forward. Here's the deck and the wiring coming together, and more wiring underneath it. And then in the next picture you'll see I have all the lights hooked up to my truck and everything is working quite nice. I also integrated backup lights into it. Then I had some decking that I stained and installed, and then this is the trailer all finished once it's out of my shop, ready to go to work, and then parked in front of my house, hooked to the back of my truck, and I think it turned out not too bad. I hadn't finished the ramps yet at this point, which you'll see in the next slide. There's the hooks to hook them up to the side or to the back, and I made it so I can hook them either to the sides or the back. I can side load or rear load whatever piece of equipment. There's my Bobcat wood splitter and everything ready to go to a job. Here my son Eric is using the trailer to power the wood splitter, and it works quite well. It's reasonably quick, and the two-section hydraulic pump, or sorry, two-stage hydraulic pump is a good job spraying most of the tough stuff. The splitter itself, I'm not sure I'm 100% happy with it. It does tend to jam up a fair bit, but it does work. And having the trailer to run it is great because I can use the Bobcat to bring wood to it. I don't need to use my Bobcat. And then next I built a whole bunch of sides for it. Made it 2 feet high out of 2x12s, and here they are installed, and turns it into a really nice dump trailer, and they're just removable relatively easily. They are somewhat heavy. Here we are loading a bunch of yard debris onto it. The neighbor cut down a tree, and here we are hauling it away. And here's a video of the first actual heavy load of dirt that I had on it. It's probably about 3 tons, 7,000-ish pounds. I'm getting less than dirt. I never actually did this, but I did have, like I said, just over 5 tons on it at one point, and it did end up lifting it no problem. Initially it didn't, but then we got right at the very front. We ended up shoving just a little bit. As you can see here, it seems to have no trouble lifting this thing. Quite nicely. I made it so it had a relatively steep dump angle because I'm kind of lazy. I don't like shovels. I'd rather just have it slide out of the deck, which does. So yeah, there you go. There's my trailer. We call it the FLIMSY trailer because my dad decided that it was flimsy by looking at it online over FaceTime one day, and I got a custom license plate that says FLIMSY for it. So there's the FLIMSY trailer.